Welcome to Level 2, Block 1, Formations, Spacing, and Alignment. By the end of this block of instruction, you will understand formation protocol, types, nomenclature, and orientation, how to create and size a formation, the principles of dress, cover, interval, and distance, platoon guide and guide-on-bearer positions, and how to count off. Here we will cover formation protocol and the types of formations. When formation members are at any position other than rest, do not attempt to block others from trespassing on the formation. Formation leadership needs to take care of it. Do not walk between any formation element. If you can, walk behind a formation and not in front. Report to the commander when late. Trainers need direct access to members of the formation to make immediate adjustments and will break ranks as necessary. Elements are what make up a formation, either individuals, squads, or platoons. When commanding, face the platoon every time you halt. Officers are 6 steps away from and centered on the formation. Enlisted are 3 steps away. Cadets marching in competition must maintain a 3-step interval. When the formation executes right step, the commander, facing the formation, executes left step in cadence and vice versa for the formation executing left step. When the formation executes backwards march, the commander marches forward at half step. When the formation needs to march forward in column formation, the commands are right face and forward march. The commander, still facing the formation, steps off with a left face in march. If the formation needs to march in inverted column for a short distance only, the commands are left face and forward march. The commander, still facing the formation, steps off with the formation using a right face in march. There are 2 types of a detail formation. One is at least one individual on a work detail. The preparatory command would be squad, platoon, or detail. The term color detail is used to identify the color guard in the Marine Corps order only and not by name. The second type is a formation where squad or platoon do not adequately identify the formation. Examples are a sword detail, firing detail, cannons or firing party, boots and rifle detail, those to be recognized with awards, road guards, a small musical ensemble, cake detail, and flag detail. The flag detail hoists and lowers the American flag. These formations use the word detail as the preparatory command. An element is part of a formation. Individuals are elements of a squad. Squads are elements of a platoon. Platoons are elements of a company, and so on. The Marine Corps order mentions the squad and rank and then uses different wording, addressing both as a file and a rank. The first use of the term rank and file was in the 16th century. It means the ordinary members of a large group, or, for our application, it means the enlisted members of a formation. For the U.S. military in the mid-20th century, the term rank meant a line of people in line formation, and the term file was the same line in column formation. For clarity, we need to define our terms and eliminate any confusion that might arise. For the U.S. Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard, we have squads and ranks, and it does not matter which way the members are facing. Dress is the alignment toward the squad leader, but not directly on the squad leader. You dress to the individual directly next to you. Cover is the alignment front to back. It is always to the individual directly in front of you, not on the individual at the front. Depth is the total space from front to rear of any formation. An individual's depth is considered to be 12 inches. Distance is the space between elements in the direction of depth. Between individuals, the space between your chest and the person in front is 40 inches. Interval is measured between individuals from shoulder to shoulder. Normal interval between individuals is 1 arm's length. Close interval is the horizontal distance between shoulder and elbow when the heel of the left hand is placed on the left hip. Line formation is how we fall in, with the squad leaders to the right of the formation. Dress is to the right. For inverted line, the squad leaders are to the left, dress is to the left, and the formation only marches short distances in either orientation. In column formation, the squad leaders lead, and the formation can march for any distance. The base squad is the last or highest numbered squad at the far right. For inverted column formation, the squad leaders are at the rear. The base squad is on the left, which makes dress to the left. In inverted column, the formation marches for only short distances. The squad is usually formed in fire teams. Height is not an issue. However, for formal occasions, the squad is formed according to height except for the squad leader. We will go over the formal sizing of a formation in a moment. Let's continue with information for the squad. The squad is made of approximately 4 to 13 members. We get these numbers from the Marine Corps order. A fire team is 3 members with a fire team leader, and a squad can have up to 3 fire teams plus the squad leader. These numbers are not absolute. I'm providing them just for guidance. The leader of the formation gives fall in or at close interval fall in, and the squad forms in line formation 3 paces from, facing, and centered as best as possible on the formation leader. The formation leader can be the squad leader, another NCO, or a squad member to drill the squad. After the command fall in, the individual in position 1 takes their position after visually gauging a 3-step distance from the formation commander. Do not march off the distance. When the formation falls in, they get their dress and interval. The commander does not give attention or dress right dress. The formation leader faces the squad when giving all stationary commands. When the squad will move at right, left, or back step, the leader executes the movement to remain facing, centered, and 3 steps away. For example, if the squad is given right step march, the leader executes left step. If the formation is armed, inspection arms, port arms, and order are given following the report if taken. The squad is dismissed with the commands inspection arms, port arms, and dismissed. Unarmed troops are just given dismissed. The white boxes at the bottom are the drill symbols for each position. The platoon is made of 2 to 4 squads, with each squad having a maximum of 13 members. The Marine Corps order states that moves are accomplished in a column of 3s or 4s, with 3 squads being the most used formation for the Marine Corps. Here we have leader positions and distances for the platoon. The platoon commander remains centered on and 6 paces away from the platoon when drilling to maintain control. The platoon commander can be anyone drilling the platoon. Cadets in command during competition for the regulation drill sequence must maintain a 3-step distance due to space limitations. During the sequence, the cadet commander does not move in front of the platoon at any time since the commander is drilling the platoon. If the platoon sergeant will form the platoon after the command fall in or at close interval fall in, the guide posts so that the first squad is 3 paces from and centered on the platoon sergeant. All others fall in their appropriate positions. When the formation is ready, the platoon sergeant faces about and the platoon commander posts 3 steps in front of the platoon sergeant. They exchange salutes and the platoon commander states, "Take your post." The platoon sergeant posts at the left of the rearmost squad. When the formation falls in, they get their dress, cover, interval, and distance. The commander does not give attention or dress right dress. If the platoon commander does not receive the platoon sergeant faces about and takes 3 steps forward to take command. The guidon bearer remains next to the first squad leader, even in column formation, unless the formation is going to march. At that point, the guide moves to in front of the base squad, which we will cover in a moment. When not drilling the platoon and marching in column formation, the commander marches at the head of the first squad, shown on the left. The graphic on the right shows the commander drilling the platoon, which is what cadets do in competition. A company consists of a headquarters and 2 or more platoons. When the formation falls in, they get their dress, cover, interval, and distance. The commander does not give attention or dress right dress. The company in this image is in line formation. Other formations for the company include column, mass, extended mass, and column of platoons in line. For complete information on those formation variations, and for battalion and parade information, see those chapters in Marine Corps Order 5060.20. having the drill symbols in each of these slides is designed to give you a better awareness of who these symbols represent and where they would position. After the command "fall in," the guidon bearer, if present, takes their position after visually gauging a 6-step distance from the officer or a 3-step distance from the NCO for the first squad, centering the formation as closely as possible on the commander. If the formation does not have a guidon bearer, the first squad leader falls in first to obtain spacing and centering off the commander. Do not march off the distance. If necessary, the formation commander adjusts the distance and centers on the first squad. When the formation first falls in, they get their dress, cover, interval, and distance. The commander does not give attention or dress right dress. The Marine Corps order states that the formation members should be sized according to the taller individuals to the right of the formation. There isn't a procedure stated in the manual. The Air Force, however, has a procedure that anyone can use. For the next graphic set, you will need this information. You will see where it comes into play. If the guidon bearer and squad leaders are already set and do not change positions, you say the text in the brackets. This is known as the preface. If the guidon bearer and squad leader positions don't matter who mans them, the preface is not necessary. The shortened version is used when everyone in the formation knows what you are talking about. After facing the formation to the right, the commander gives the statement with or without the preface. Once the statement is given, it needs to remain consistent. Everyone who needs to move does so by advancing to the right and retreating to the left. After facing the formation to the right again, the commander gives the statement. Everyone who needs to move does so now. The formation is faced to the left, and the commander gives the statement. Everyone who needs to move does so. The formation is given left face one more time and is now back in line formation and sized tallest to shortest, viewers left to right. If you want shortest to tallest, switch the facing movements. First give 2 lefts and then 2 rights. This might be preferable with a great disparity of height with cadets or explorers. For normal interval, the command is dress right, truss. Bring the left arm up horizontal regardless of how tall the individual is to your left. For close interval, the command is at close interval, dress right, truss. The fingers and thumb are extended and joined and point downward with the heel of your hand on the top of your hip. The elbow tends to naturally point at an angle towards the rear. Bring it forward in line with the torso for a more accurate measurement, and do not raise the left shoulder. Here, 1 is for the squad leaders and guidon bearer, 2 is for the squad members, and 3 is for the formation members at the end of each squad. You can call either command only when the formation is already at the approximate interval. As an example, when the formation is at normal interval, you do not call at close interval, dress right, dress. If that is required, you give the command close, march, which we will cover later. The command is dress left, dress. This is the same principle as dressing to the right, except that the squad members turn their heads to the left except for the last individual at the left. When given the command dress right, dress, formation members of the Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard do not take their cover to the front at the same time. This means all right shoulders touch fingertips in all squads, which is why the command cover is required after giving the command ready front. The command is cover and requires visual alignment and spacing, no arm movement, and no other command. Count off is for numbering ranks, not squads or how many are in a formation. In the introduction, I talked about commands and the phrase on the command. 99% of the time you will execute the command after the command of execution. This is one case where you execute the command as the command of execution is being said. The commander gives the command count off. On the command of execution, off, everyone except the squad leaders turns their head to the right. Immediately after the command, the squad leaders call out 1. In service tempo, within 116 to 120 beats per minute, members of the second rank simultaneously pop their heads and eyes to the front and call out 2 and each subsequent rank follows suit. Next, we will cover platoon guide and guide-on-bearer positions. The platoon guide falls in first for the platoon, and everyone takes their post from that position. Once the commander gives right face and the platoon will march, the guide takes his post in front of the base element. The commander gives the command right face, and on that command the guide-on-bearer in the platoon position lifts the staff, brings the left hand back to attention, executes right face, and then the steps above. If the platoon has a guide and not a guide-on-bearer, the guide executes the above steps without including the guide-on-staff manual requirements. A complete breakdown of the manual of the guide-on-staff is in a later block of instruction. On the first sergeant's command of fall in, the company forms its platoons and the guide-on-bearer takes his post one step in front of, 2 left steps to the right of, and facing the first sergeant, with the first sergeant facing the unit. After the report is taken, and when the commander receives the unit, the guide-on-bearer takes 3 steps forward on the command post. Platoon commanders move into position, and the first sergeant takes the most direct route to post. The company commander gives the command right face, and the commander and guide-on-bearer execute the appropriate face in march to post at the head of the formation. In this block of instruction, we covered an introduction to formation protocol, types, nomenclature, and orientation, how to create and size a formation, the principles of dress, cover, interval, and distance, platoon guide and guide-on-bearer positions, and how to count off. The telephone game is played by a group of 10 or more. Gather in a circle or line, standing or sitting. Start with one person sharing a phrase in another's ear so no one else can hear. No one else can know the phrase. The first person whispers the phrase into the ear of the person next to them. When whispering, you must be quick and very quiet. You cannot repeat the phrase. As the communication progresses through each player, do your best to say what you heard. When the last person has heard the message, they are to say it out loud to everyone. Then the first person is to reveal to everyone what the original phrase was. What is the end phrase? It's most likely different from the one created and shared at the beginning. While some may see this as a child's game, which it is, it proves very good points that are listed here. There are different influences on communication. Here are a few. Can you list more? Go ahead and look up information about barriers to communication, and I think you will be surprised. To be a good leader, you must learn how to communicate effectively.